Ladies and gentlemen, needless of me to say this to you, but it's extremely difficult to go from being a medical student to a full-time medical doctor to becoming a practicing doctor at a big hospital. And I know this firsthand because my father is a full-time doctor. My little brother is currently a resident and on his path to becoming a doctor as well. So I know the difficult process that it takes for you to be a student to a medical student to a full-time practicing doctor. In today's story, we're going to be discussing Ali Abdaal.
In a previous life, I studied medicine at Cambridge University, worked as a doctor in the UK's National Health Service for 2 years, but recently quit to do this YouTube thing full-time.
And in 5 years, he becomes a full-time practicing doctor in the UK. And then Ali decides that medicine is no longer a career path that he wants to follow, but he'd rather change it to something else, something that is completely different than medicine. He ends up following YouTube as a full-time career. So today's story, we're going to deep dive into that, and I want to understand why Ali would make a decision like that, because it takes a lot of passion for somebody to go into medical school. Like, you have to fully embed it in that world and fully want to do that for you to become a doctor, because a lot of times students don't care about anything else but being a doctor. So my question is, why would he go through all of that, become a doctor, and then change it all up to a full-time YouTube career? And the biggest question is, did it pay off for him at the end? Let's go ahead and talk about that. Before I answer that question though, I want to give you a very brief overview of Ali's story and then pinpoint that exact moment where he went from being a medical student to that transition where he became a full-time YouTuber. Ali's story begins at Cambridge University. And as mentioned before, it's extremely difficult to be a medical student, right? There's so much that goes into human anatomy, and you as a medical student that's about to become a doctor needs to know all the intricacies of how everything works together of the human body. It just takes a lot, and that means a lot of memorization. That means a lot of intaking knowledge about the human anatomy. And through his time at Cambridge, Ali figured out ways on how to be more productive, on how to easily attain knowledge and retain the knowledge as well, what ways he should study and what places he should study, what tools he needed to be able to study and attain this knowledge better. And one other thing that Ali knew that he was really good at was communication. He got really good at communicating with people, talking to other students, and at times he would even give out courses as well. I'm really good at relaying over what I've studied so far to other students and classmates and my other peers in medical school. I feel like at this point he had a light bulb moment in his head. He's like, what if I relay everything I've studied so far in medical school on how to study better, how to be more productive, over to an audience of people that I don't know, maybe to YouTube. And Ali had already started a YouTube channel as a hobby. His brother singing and him playing the guitar in the background, or just based off of like just something not related at all to medical school or how to study or be productive. So he starts posting videos on that channel on what it takes to be a medical student. You know, what process you need to go through, what tests you have to study, how you should study for these tests, like the BMAT exam, like the MCAT exams. And this was the pivotal moment where Ali's medical school career kind of pivoted over to, okay, I have something else going on now too. I'm not only a medical student, but I also post videos as a hobby on YouTube about what I do in medical school. This is kind of what started everything for him. His initial content and the quality of content was very, I wouldn't say low, but it was not as high as it is now, because he would shoot on his iPhone. He didn't really have the production team that he has today, didn't have the lighting that he has today, didn't have the microphone setup that he has today. So the quality was not as good as it was before, but he would still shoot the videos on YouTube. And his initial audience, because he would post videos on how to be a medical student in the UK region, or merely just people in that region that wanted to be medical students, that wanted to be doctors. So his content was more catered to that demographic only. And then slowly, as a lot of YouTubers go through this process of just posting random videos to see what works, what doesn't work, he'd post random videos from vlogs of, you know, his life as a medical student, to how to study for different exams, to these would be, you know, to like product videos of, you know, this is what helps me on being productive, maybe buying an iPad that would help me be productive, or just random things, right? And slowly in the comment section, people would be like, Ali, I like when you posted a video about these tools that you use for being productive, or Ali, how do you do this, or how do you do that? And then he slowly catered his videos to not only just students that were in medical school, to now his videos became more like, instead of being like how to study for the MCAT, it would be more like 7 ways to be productive for a student. That catered more to any student, not just medical students. So even I could benefit from that too. As a student, I could watch his videos and be like, oh, that's a cool item, that's a cool product, that's a cool piece of technology that I could use to be more productive and study more. So now with a bigger audience and this new growth, Ali's channel is no longer a hobby. It's more of a business because he's making money, his channel is monetized, and he very quickly had to realize that there's way more ways on YouTube that you can make money than just AdSense. So he started creating things like an online course that will teach people how to study more effectively. He made a bunch of e-learning books and other coaching services that were aimed at increasing people's productivity. And at this point, with the channel growing so much, Ali's workload was very, very big. As Ali's business grew quickly, he began to hire a team of freelancers and contractors to help him manage his workload. He also began to speak at conferences and events where he shared his insights on productivity and personal development. And with this growth, Ali realized that he had a real opportunity to make a living from his YouTube channel and other related products. And this is where he decided to take the plunge and quit his job as a doctor and go ahead and pursue YouTube as a full-time career. And although the decision itself was a very scary decision for him to make, because everything about him being a doctor was everything that he knew. He'd worked his whole entire life to become a doctor, and he wanted to pursue that his whole entire life. So imagine you want to do something pretty much most of your life, and at some point something else works for you. You like that other thing, and then you realize, all right, I like this more, but do I have enough to be able to pursue this over what I've known all my life? And he had to make that decision all on his own, and he did that. And initially it was very, very scary, but then he had built enough on his YouTube channel, and he had monetized multiple avenues in the YouTube channel to be able to make that decision more easier. And he knew that his YouTube channel had the potential to be even more successful. And with that in mind, his decision of quitting to be a doctor and pursuing YouTube full-time made it a lot easier for him to do that. So we come to the final question at this point. Why did Ali Abdaal make the decision to transition over from a doctor to a full-time YouTuber? Did it pay off? And most importantly, I wonder this as well myself. Did he do it for money? Right? Because I felt like any doctor that went through medical school, they had just mere passion to help people, to treat people, and nobody really did it for money. I asked my brother, I was like, hey, if you're given a mere $2 billion right now, would you quit medical school and just go live on an island? His answer to me very quickly, without any hesitation, was no. He's like, I'm not doing this for money. So this made me really wonder, why would Ali transition over from being a doctor to a YouTuber if it didn't have to do with money? Well, the answer is a combination of a lot of things, right? The first thing, I think the most important reason why he made that decision was because of passion, right? A lot of people, and human psychology is that no matter what you do, where you are in life, you kind of stray over a path that takes you to where you're most passionate about, right? At this point, he had two things that he had to juggle: his medical career and also YouTube. And over time, he realized that even though he had passion for his medical career and for being a doctor, he had way more passion of creating videos, of teaching people, of creating online courses. He wanted to do this more than he wanted to be a doctor, and he chose that. I think that's the biggest reason why he did that. If it did have to do with money, I think money is a big factor that plays a role in a lot of decisions that we make in life, in our career paths and whatever we do in life. Money played a big role because as a doctor in the UK, you make from 82,000 to almost 150k pounds a year. Ali's channel at this point brings in anywhere from $3 to $4 million a year. So that's a big bump in pay. And also being in this YouTube growth category as well, I myself in this category also, it's good, right? Because we're helping people. We're helping people grow financially, grow personally, right? And it teaches you also on how to talk to people, how to communicate to a camera, how to communicate to an individual. And you know that at the end of the day, when you post a video, when you put out a video, when you make an online course, when you make an ebook, it goes towards helping an individual out there. So in a way, yes, Ali is not really prescribing medication to treat patients. He is still helping people, and so is anybody else that's in the space as well. With that said, leave a like on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.